Hey traders, welcome back to my channel. Today we are looking at 3 common mistakes people make when trading patterns. So I've talked about trading patterns a lot on my channel before, but this one we're just specifically going to look at mistakes people make or that I see people make often in the market. And obviously these are just my opinions. If you trade patterns a certain way, by all means, continue doing that. If it works for you, this is just kind of my view on it. If you guys aren't subscribed already, please subscribe below and let me know what kind of content you want to see. I'm trying to put out videos at least 2-3 times a week, so definitely could use all the ideas I could get there. And yeah, we'll just get right into it. So I have the Bitcoin USD chart up right now just because there was a nice head and shoulders here. And that is going to kind of lead us into the first thing I want to talk about, which is letting a pattern finish. So letting a pattern actually play out before looking for entry. So this is something I see often in the market. I am on the daily time frame, by the way. I know you guys are always wondering when I don't zoom in enough. So it is the daily. So as you can see there, we did get a head and shoulders here, which you guys know is a reversal pattern, right? And often what will happen, guys, is we'll see, bear with me as I draw this, we'll see like this much of the pattern play out. And people assume that what we're getting here is a head and shoulders pattern. And the issue with that is if you don't let the pattern actually play out, we really have no confirmation that we are getting that rejection. And that we're going to see, price start to go in the other direction. So entering prematurely can get you in trouble. The other issue with that is kind of, and this goes into like trading the pullback. People always want to try to like catch this wave here. So like trying to jump in early and catch that pullback. It's really difficult to know when this pullback's going to stop or to finish. And that's why I never recommend trying to like counter the trend. People ask me about that often as well. I always trade with the overall trend. I don't try to catch these mini pullbacks or these little pullbacks here. I just find it's hard to know when they're going to stop, and you're not going to get great entry. You're not usually going to get good risk reward. So yeah, entering prematurely is something I would definitely avoid. What I would recommend, wait for the pattern to play out and then look for confirmation and confluence. So I would actually wait if I were trading the head and shoulders, and I have a video on this too, I would wait for the pattern to play out. I know it's not drawn in there very well. Usually I would look to enter at a retest of a zone, but with Bitcoin, we don't always get that. So you could also trade on the breakout. But yeah, so it's pretty self-explanatory, just letting patterns play out. I know that's might seem a little simple, but it is a mistake I see often. People try to kind of get in the middle of it. And then the second thing I want to talk about is time frames. So this will actually be quite quick, just something I wanted to discuss fairly quickly. Using different time frames. So if you're going to use a really low time frame, guys, like 5-15 minutes, let me just pull this up. You're going to see a bunch of patterns that really have no indication on where price is going. These patterns happen due to news. They're very sporadic. You get a lot more volatility on the lower time frames, and they're not really going to give you much indication, if there's a major reversal or things like that. A lot of these candles you see on the lower time frame occur just kind of, like I said, sporadically, and you get a lot of volatility. Now, that being said, if you're a scalper, you definitely do pay attention to the candles on the lower time frames. Like, it's not that they don't mean anything, but you can see patterns that don't necessarily, sorry guys, you can see patterns that don't necessarily mean that you're getting like a, trend continuation or rejection. They're just not as meaningful. The other thing with that is, I think I've spoken to you guys before about self-fulfilling prophecy, and a lot of people talk about that in the industry. And basically all that means, guys, is most traders aren't looking for patterns on the 5-minute chart. They're not looking for patterns on the 30-minute chart or even the hourly. Most times we're looking at the 4-hour or higher. And therefore, if most people are looking for entries on the 4-hour and daily charts, you're going to get more or a more accurate entry on those time frames, because it's kind of making the market move as we're all looking at those same time frames together. So generally speaking, I look at the 4-hour and higher. And of course, that depends on the style of trading you're into. But yeah, generally speaking, the 4-hour higher is what I use. I'm a swing trader. And if you're like, a more long-term swing trader, you might use the daily. But yeah, so that's that. And then the last thing I want to talk about is confirmation. And I talk about confirmation all the time. I always mention it pretty much in every video. So that should give you some idea on how important it is. And I am just sticking to this Bitcoin chart, guys, because it's just easier. But let's go back to the daily and look at that head and shoulders if I can find it. Here we go. So looking at that pattern again, okay, that reversal. Your confirmation, and I did chat about this earlier on, but I'll just go into a bit more detail, is going to be either that break. Okay, so you're going to look for confirmation when you get the breakout and you get your actual signal to enter the trade. So for you, that might mean like a break of a zone. I know that's a horrible line. A break of a key level, a break of support or resistance, a break of any other structure really, so like a trend line, something like that. But when you get that breakout, so when you get the confluence you need to enter the trade, you want to make sure that you have confirmation of a reversal or a continuation, depending on the pattern that you're trading. So for a head and shoulders, obviously, when we got the breakout here, your confirmation would be, strong momentum. So you could pull up the MACD indicator. You could look at candles on the lower time frame. So like we could switch to even the 15-minute, and you'd be looking for candles. I'm actually going to pull one up and show you what I would look for. So I would be looking for nice long-bodied candles like these. Okay, now we do see a lot of wicks here, which is very common with Bitcoin. Generally speaking, I like to stay away from pairs like that. But these nice long wicks and that strong momentum would be confirmation. And then if you're looking for a retest, so I know I said earlier, let's go back to the daily. I know I'm switching around a lot here today. And I'll try to zoom us in. So again, and we still have that little arrow there. So I usually, guys, when I'm trading a head and shoulders, will wait for a breakout and then a retest of a zone. We didn't get that here. But again, with Bitcoin and certain, crypto or Forex pairs, you're not going to get that. But my confirmation would be a retest of that zone normally. Okay. So I'd look for a price to come up to, and this is just, let me get a rectangle tool so I can show you. I would look for a retest and then a rejection wick. So a nice long wick. So I'll actually take a tool. So let's say I had, and I'm not drawing a perfect zone here, of course, but let's say there's a zone here. I would normally wait for a break and then a retest with rejection. So that would be my confirmation. And that just goes back to your own trading style. And that's pretty much it. Those are the three common mistakes I see made when it comes to trading patterns. If you guys have any other tips and pointers, you can leave them in the comments below. If you have any questions, definitely let me know. I don't know if you all know about my funding program, but we do have a really awesome funding program available. You can check out. I'll put the link down in the comments below. You can trade with up to $100,000 in capital. So definitely check that out. And again, you can leave any questions for me in the comments. I'll be sure to get back to them. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video.